we're going to head to our questions about the U.S. and Iran reaching a deal to extend a ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Our Britt Clennett is on the ground in Jerusalem. Britt, appreciate you joining us. First things first, just people are wondering, what exactly did the U.S. agree to, and how much money is the president putting up for Iran?
Hey, Ashan. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of confusion around that, and that's probably why people are searching it. A $300 billion private fund. It is a private fund, and it's designed to trigger investment into Iran, which is outlined in that US-Iran framework agreement that we've been seeing, that memorandum of understanding. But let's be clear, it's not coming out of US taxpayers' money. The new fund, it is a private investment vehicle, not a reconstruction or reparations program. And Trump pushed back on Wednesday against any kind of characterization of the U.S. of this fund as a U.S. investment. He said, we are not investing. We're not putting up 10 cents. So he has made that pretty clear. Also adding that he wasn't asking the Gulf countries to invest either. This investment fund, though, it is entirely separate from a parallel negotiating track over the lifting of U.S. sanctions and the release of Iranian sovereign assets frozen abroad. So it's their money. Iran, one of the Middle East's largest economies, it has attracted almost no significant foreign direct investment in the past 4 decades, frozen out of all global capital markets pretty much by these successive waves of US and international sanctions. So it is now getting a bit of an economic lifeline, you could say.
Yeah, Britt, with the news of this memorandum of understanding, how's the world and world leaders actually reacting to the news that the U.S. and Iran have finally reached a deal?
I think there's a lot of cautious optimism. We heard from the UK, which welcomed the de-escalation, but emphasised very much that, any lasting peace requires robust, they said, verifiable commitments regarding Iran's nuclear program. We heard from France, Macron, who was there during the signing in Versailles. He called it a step in the right direction towards lasting peace. And China also cautioned that the next more detailed phase of this the nuclear negotiations and all that's going to take place in the 60 days that follows this agreement will face significantly greater hurdles than the initial agreement. So really, we're kind of getting a lot of trepidation and awareness that this is just the first stage, and the next one, it's going to be a lot harder to get past.
Yeah, Britt, break that down for me, because we can't talk Iran without talking about the Strait of Hormuz, and that's one of the top search questions every time we talk about this. What is going on with the strait? Is it open? Is it closed? Is it going to open imminently, or is it a part of that long road ahead?
Yeah, it is a part of the long road ahead. And look, there are reports of a small number of ships sailing through that strait after that memorandum was signed. So it does seem like there is a little bit of an immediate sign of an impact. But, there are something like 550 ships still held up in the strait. So it's not going to happen overnight. Shipping companies predict that it's going to take some time for transit across the strait to reach those pre-war levels that we saw before, with this need yet to ensure safe access, and don't forget, clear those mines all over the strait. By some estimates, that memorandum says the Strait of Hormuz will also be toll-free for those 60 days. But what happens after that, we just don't know. It does leave open the possibility that tolls may be imposed in the future. However, US officials are kind of expressing that's not going to happen. It does go on to say in this memorandum that the future administration of the strait will be worked out by Iran, Oman, and other Gulf states. And that does leave the prospect of future tolling in the region an open question.